This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so you need to go to marketplace and then you need to install. I have installed an extension from some third party. I want to delete it. How can I do that? Go to extensions and then if it is installed, you can delete it by selecting that. Okay, till that point it is fine. So each and every time I run a pipeline, what happens? New VM is created. Why? Hmm?
To execute our job.
To execute the jobs. See, understand this. Within a pipeline, we will be having job. Inside the job, we will be having tasks. To execute your jobs, each and every time you run a pipeline, it is going to create a new VM file. Can I select any Ubuntu machine or Mac OS to run my pipelines? Yes or no? Yes, you can select. So where you need to do that? So what was the project? This one, right? So if you go to the pipelines, under pipelines, like if you want to run this pipeline on a Mac OS, then what you need to do, edit the pipeline and go to agent pool. There you need to select the agent specification. This is where you can select the agent. Okay. What are the predefined steps for building an ASP.NET Web application? Yeah, NuGet installer, NuGet restore, build by using MS Build or Visual Studio Build. Okay, next. After that, you need to publish before. Yeah, NuGet installer, NuGet restore, Visual Studio Build, and after that, you are publishing the output. But in real time, are we going to perform these four? These four will be there. Apart, along with these, there will be having one more option, like static code analysis. What do you mean by static code analysis? I have written the code and I want to see the number of code vulnerabilities, code bugs, and code smells, like any syntactical errors. Are there any some other kind of error bugs that is mentioned? Like, are you using the same type of code? See, basically, what happens in the real time is you are going to write the code. You need to reutilize the code. You should not declare the same syntax in all the ways. You need to reutilize the code. That's where, that's how you are going to improve the performance of the application. For example, I want to use a variable. I created a variable right now, and that is used. Again, I want to use one more variable. Create one more variable and use it. By doing like this, are you going to achieve a good quality standard on the code? You want to reutilize the code. That's how you are going to increase the code quality. To do the code quality, what is the tool that we are going to use? For that, we are going to use SonarQube. SonarQube is a third party one. So everybody in the real time are going to use SonarQube. Why we use SonarQube? We use SonarQube for code quality. When I say code quality, what kind of quality it is? Code vulnerabilities, code bugs, code smells. If you want to look it into the documentation about it, I'll give you what is code quality. And if you want to look it into the tools, see this 12 best code quality tools. Among all of these, SonarQube is the only one that everybody uses. SonarQube, everybody uses in the real time. SonarQube, and yeah, SonarQube is the code quality tool that everybody uses. And what do you mean by code quality, code vulnerabilities, code bugs, and code smells? What is code smells in SonarQube? A maintainability related issues in the code. And what do you mean by vulnerabilities? Like, what do you mean by code bugs? What is code smells and bugs and vulnerabilities in SonarQube? Look for the documentation. If it is a bug, a coding mistake that can lead to an error. Okay, so if it is a vulnerability, a point in your code that's open to attack. like anybody in outside can attack. So if you want to follow some stored like code qualities, then you need to have these things like bugs, vulnerabilities, and code smells. See, if it is a code smell, that means a maintainability issue that makes your code confusing and difficult to maintain. Bugs, smells, like vulnerabilities. These are very important. By using these three, like these three can be utilized in the Sonar Cube. Basically, what does the Sonar Cube does? Code quality. Understood. So Sonar Cube is used for code quality. How can I include that Sonar Cube step? How can I include my Sonar Cube step within the pipeline? Now tell me. Yeah, you need to go to marketplace and you need to install the extension, and you are going to, let's consider the setup part will be done by always some other person. Just forget about it as of now. I'm not going to show you the setup. Let's consider the setup is already done and you want to include Sonar Cube. Before building the code or after building the code you want to do it? After building. Why after only building? Because we are checking the quality. Understood the point, right? After building only you need to do the static code analysis. Static code analysis or static code quality we used to say it as. Okay. I have a requirement. If the code quality doesn't like whenever I say code quality, let's consider that with the percentage. Are we going to maintain 100% of the code quality or 95 or 90? Now tell me which one is better for you. 100%, 95 or 90? Hmm? 100%. Okay. In companies, they used to maintain 95%. Minimum they keep 95, max 100. Okay. If once after you build it, you are going to test like do the static analysis on top of that, and you tested the code quality is 94 percentage. Do you want to accept it or reject it? Understood the point, right? So once the code quality doesn't meet 95 percentage, then immediately stop the build. That way what happens, the developers will be able to again change the code and again they are going to send it to the pipeline. So again they are going to make the code quality to check. If it is matching more than 95 percentage, then then only it is going to allow or else reject it. Whether can we maintain these kind of situations in the pipeline? Yes, we can make it. Like I'll just show you. So earlier, if you remember, if you go to, what do you call this, policies, branching policies. One second, let me just think. Uh, on top of this branch, let's create a branching policy and see this. Status checks and build validation is there. What do you mean by build validation? For example, I have a feature branch, I have a main branch. Whatever the code that I want to write, I need to write it in future. Okay. The code that I have written, first I need to check it, right, whether it is building. If I write the original, like if I write the meaningful code, then only it will build it, or else it will fail. If it is failing, why I need to merge it in the main branch? Not required, right? So if you are writing the code in the future branch and you want to build it on which branch? Future branch itself. Once it is built, then only merge the code into main branch. Like that, if you want to specify some kind of definitions, we can do the build validation kind. Okay. So validate your code by pre-merging and building the pull request changes. Understood why this step is required? So before merging, first I want to build my code. If it is success, then only merge it. That's why we are going to use. And status checks require other services to post successful status to complete the pull request. And let's see. Like these are some required kind of thing that going forward will I'll show you. Okay, so last we have discussed about pipelines, and we are running each and every time we run the pipeline, we used to see that a agent specific name was able to see by the host name and everything we are able to see. You are using hosted or self-hosted? Hosted. How you are saying that it is hosted? So whenever you run the pipeline, Microsoft is giving you a VM to run all those agent jobs. That's why it is hosted agent. What about self-hosted? Okay. Is it audible now or still it's the same thing? I want you guys to confirm whether yes. Okay, now it is audible. Okay. So if it is a self-hosted agent, that means Microsoft is going to give you a VM to perform all the operation. Like if it is a self-hosted agent, we are going to have our own virtual machines to perform the pipeline jobs. Okay. Now, in the earlier classes, I asked, I was saying to create a portal. Basically, why we need a portal? This is the first point. During our demo, I have discussed that we are going to discuss only two URLs, dev.azure.com. This is for Azure DevOps. In real time, they used to call it as ADO. ADO stands for Azure DevOps. The second thing was portal.azure.com. This is for your complete Azure administration. Why we use this Azure administration? I have the code and I'm able to build it and I got the package ready. Now I want to take this package and deploy it on top of some server, right? Then only people will be able to browse that. Now who is going to give you the server? That's where the Azure comes into the picture. So Microsoft Azure gives you all the resources that is required for you to host your application, database, storage account, and web servers, anything, whatever you want, everything will be available in Azure. What you need to do is you just need to create it and utilize it and pay for it. Okay. Now we are going to see how we can create a Azure portal. And I already have the Azure portal and let me show you first and then I will log out. This is the Azure portal, portal.azure.com. Okay, and see this. Whenever you have signed up, you will get 14,500 rupees, and this is valid for 28 days. Even if you create the resource and even if you utilize it or don't utilize it, after 28 days, this will be gone. Now you will be having a question like we had 10 people, right? 10 people we will sign up at the same time. After 28 days, 10 people will not be having any other account, right? If you want to create another account, one more email and one more credit card. Like that you can create. But what I will suggest you is any one can create and invite the other people so that everybody will be able to utilize one single account. Okay. So once they utilize it, like once that 14,500 rupees is gone, again we will ask the other person to create it. This way we can practice for like 2 months or 3 months. This is better without even signing with your own things. Okay. Now we want this portal. How can we create the portal? So let me just show you the process to sign up for the portal. So here also I already have the portal and okay, I'll just take this browser. Why I'm taking different browsers was like already some users are logged into this. Okay, now portal.azure.com. This is the landing page for you. Like I just need to clear some cache. Let me just do that. So Control H and clear browsing data. And before doing it, do we have this person already here? You know the password and everything. Okay. Because once I do the browsing history clear, it is going to ask me for the passwords again. Okay, I did it and then portal.azure.com. Okay. You already have a GitHub account, right? Sign in with GitHub. I think this is the one. See, it will get logged out. Okay. So I want your GitHub email ID. One second. So I want to show you the exact home page, not this, because it will ask you two options: sign up or sign in. We need to sign up, not sign in. So here it is directly taking me to sign in. So I'll just clear all these things. Let me just close this and what is that edge? So while you, if you want to sign up, you need to provide some credit card information, and they are going to deduct 2 rupees, and they are saying that it is reversed, but 2 rupees, that's fine. Okay, I'll show you. I'll show you the payment page till the payment. I will show you how to go till the payment page, and after that you need to provide your credit card information and you need to sign up. Hotel.azure.com. Again, it is taking me to this. So I'll just do Control H. This is what the problem that in a real time you are going to get each and every time. As of now, for me, what happening was I have multiple accounts, so that's why I'm trying to clear all the browsing history. But in real time, you won't be getting a problem related to this. You will get a problem related to the application side. So let me just do the history again here. If still it gets the same problem, I want you guys to search for it. Okay. Because this itself has taken 10 minutes. Total. Okay, I want you guys to do for it. So meanwhile, what I will do is, I will last one more time, please. Google dot. See, I have entered Google. Now I want to have www.com in the end, in the first and in the end. At that time, what you need to do? Control Enter. So this is a keyword. Control Enter. If you do Control Enter, it will provide you www and .com in the end. Okay. So Azure Portal free account. Create your Azure free account today. So start for free. See Azure sign up. It has taken you to the sign up page. And see now you need to do what? Instead of create one, search for create one and HEMANTH REDDY 3045 at the rate gmail.com. You can use your GitHub account also. And see, there is already a Microsoft account. Please verify a different email address. Please provide a different email address. What I will do is sign in with GitHub. So password is HYD at the rate 123098. And do you want to stay signed in? Yes. Whatever it asks, everything yes. See, it will take you to the this this page, and this is where you need to provide your information. Hey month and middle name is not required, and REDDY email ID address is this. It is going to send you one text message once you provide the phone number, and after that you need to provide some organization details. If you want to provide it, keep it as self. PAN ID not optional. Give address line as SR Nagar, SR Nagar, SR Nagar, and keep it as Hyderabad. And select the state as Telangana, postal code 50038. And once if you do that, it is going to take you to the payment page. There you need to provide the credit card details. And once after that, you will be able to log in into the Azure account and they are going to provide you 14,400 rupees. Directly it will take you to that page. Okay. Okay, once it has taken to you that page, what is the page? So if I go back to this one, so this is the home page. You are going to get like this, and you will be able to see the notifications in the bell symbol, and you will be getting 14,400 or 14,500 somewhere around like that. You are going to get. Okay. So once it is done, so account setup is done. So any one person needs to create this. Okay, we can invite the other people. Till this point, it is fine. I have signed up to the Azure portal and this is fine. Now I want a VM. VM means that's a resource or resource group. Understood. Like I'm just going to keep something like, so this is my complete Azure portal. Inside Azure portal, whatever I want to create, I want to create it under a resource group. This is a group, and this is one more group, and I'm going to call this as a resource group, and this is also resource group. Under each resource group, what will be available? Resources will be available. Resource group and resources. You understood the definition, right? In Azure, whatever you want to create, you need to create them under a resource group. A resource group will be consisting resources inside. Whenever I say resources, what kind of resources? Virtual machines, network interface card, public IP address, storage accounts, and then VMs, store like SQL servers, databases, everything is called as resources. I need to create them under resource group. So first, let's start with the resource. For this is my Azure account, and I'm currently I'm using Azure for an application called IRCTC. How many environments we should have in a real time? Three or sometimes it might be five. What are the different kind of environments? Dev, QA, UAT, and prod. Let's consider four. At a time, they are going to create the four or only one. Which one they will create first? First, they will create dev. So because why they want to create only first dev? Why not QA, UAT, prod? Because if they want to implement any new things, first they will implement in the dev. And if they are okay with that, then they will create the same kind of resource in QA, UAT, prod. Are there any configuration changes from one environment to another? No. Why? Because if they have any issues related to performance or anything, the configuration should be same first. Then only they can check it. Okay. So for dev environment, I want to create resources in Azure. How they are going to create it? So let's consider I want to create a virtual machine. What do you mean by virtual machine? Virtual machine. For example, this is my physical machine. When I say physical, that means I'm able to touch it and feel it, right? So in this machine, physical machine, I have network interface card, and I have storage like a hard disk, and then I have operating system and everything. I want to have one more physical system. That means what I need to go to the shop and purchase it, and then I need to use it. I am just using it for 1 or 2 days. In that case, do I need to purchase this? 1 or 2 days, this is not required, right? At that time, what I can do, I want to rent it. So where you can get this rent from? So if you go to Azure, there you can rent the services whatever you want and pay for once you used. Okay. Now I want to create a virtual machine. Virtual machine is a resource where I need to create this resource under a resource group. So in Azure, whatever you want to create, you need to create under resource group. So for example, I want to create an application called IRCTC. To host this application, I need to have a server, right? That server I am calling it as a VM. So I need to rent the services. Okay. In real time, what happens is they will be having an Azure account in real time also. Once they have this and they need to create the resource group, right? How they are going to create the resource group? That's where that is what we are going to call it as, like, we need to provide some name. The name that you are going to provide is called as naming convention. They want to follow some standards for giving the name. Simply you cannot create Ravi VM, Ramesh VM like this. They cannot create it. They need to follow some standards. Those standards are called naming conventions. For example, if I want to create a resource group, I'm going to keep the starting two letters as RG. And for which application it is? IRCTC. Is it Indian application or American application? Indian. IND. Which environment it is? Dev, QA or UAT? Yeah. So this is called as the naming convention. RG stands for resource group. By looking directly into the name, I can say that whether it is a resource group or a resource. It's a resource group. Okay. Now I want to create a resource group for QA also. What they are going to do? RG, IRCTC, India, and finally they are going to make it as QA. Like this UAT and like this prod. Like this, they are going to define some naming conventions. In each company, it will be different. In my company, they use this like this. In your company, it might be different. So when you are trying to create any resources, you need to ask them first. What is the naming convention that I need to keep? Okay. Simply, you cannot keep like a resource group like this. Nobody keeps. Everybody keeps them and like they make it a short. Okay. So first they'll create a resource group, and inside the resource group they need to create the resource. Okay. Now let's go back here. What I want to create a resource group. Go to the search bar and look for resource group. So whatever you want to create, you need to search it in the search bar. I want to create a resource group. I already have all these resource groups. So first I want to create it. Create it. You are practicing the subscription like you got 14,500 rupees, right? Like 14,500 rupees, it is going to be detected once you start using the resources. How it is going to know that which resource I need to take with how much amount? Simple. When you sign up with the account, they are going to give you a subscription. That subscription name is called free trial. So each and every resource you try to create, it will be under this subscription. So they are going to charge you under the subscription basis. It is same like you take a setup like a setup box, dish TV or anything. How you are recharging it based upon the ID. How the channels like if you want to purchase any channel, how you are going to purchase based upon the subscription ID, you are going to select the channel ID. That's how they are going to charge you on the subscription level itself. Like the same way, once you created a portal account, you will be having by default a subscriptions. That subscription is called as free trial subscription. Okay. And for that free trial subscription, you will be having an ID, and it is going to show you the current cost and what is the status of it. Okay. So under subscriptions, you can find your subscription name and subscription ID. Now, what do you want to create? I want to create a resource group. So just click on create a resource group. And what is the subscription that I want to use? During your complete practice, it will be free trial. What is the resource group name? I am going to make it as RGIRCTC, and I'm going to keep it as India and keep the environment as dev. And see, once you type it, it is going to validate whether it is going to take the name or not. So if it shows the green symbol, that means it is validated. You can use this. And in which location you want to create this. Since this is the cloud environment, you can create any resources in any region. West US, East Europe, West Europe, all these things. For example, consider this. My application name is called IRCTC, and I want to keep servers in India only. So in Azure portal, where do you create the region? India only, right? Let's consider a different scenario. My application is IRCTC, and I want to keep the servers in Central US. I can keep in Central US, but what happens? Each and every time I try to send a request to the server, it goes to the central US, and from there it needs to send the request back to the Indian servers. It's a big process or a easy one? It's a big process. For example, take an example like take PUBG. Earlier in India, there were no servers for PUBG in India. So when you are playing the PUBG game, there on the left side corner you can see that there is a latency of 120 milliseconds, 50 milliseconds, 80 milliseconds. Earlier it was 200 to 300. So there are n number of users in India. So what they have done is they have established a server in Mumbai, so that the network latency has been reduced to 30 or 20. Okay, that is the latency. Now what do you understand by this? If there are n number of people who is using the application, like, understand like this, my application is Indian application, so where I need to maintain the servers? India itself. Why? Because reduce the latency, network latency should not be there. So that's why I used to place all the servers in India itself. Like that, in the real time, there will be a number of applications. Basically, for example, if you take AT&T, AT&T stands for like it's an American telecom. Basically, where they will use in US itself. So they used to keep all the servers in US itself. Like the same way, where do you want to keep the resources? During your practice sessions or during your free trial, I want you to choose only one location, because you will have all the other resources in the same location. If you have all the other resources in the same location, communication from one resource to another resource will be easy, and there won't be any latency. Okay. And I want to take West US trip. Why? Because here I have all other regions also. Why I need to take only West US 3? There is some limitation. You are using free subscription. So when you are using free subscription, what happens was, if you take some other location, for example, if I take Australia East, in this VMs are not supported. If I take Southeast Asia, in this SQL server is not supported. Just for an example, I'm saying all the resources in all the locations is not possible at this point of time. Only some locations we have all the resources applicable. In that, West US 3 is the one, Central US, East US, West US 3, West US. In all these regions, you can create any resource. Just keep it as West US 3 and see the tags. Why we provide tags? For example, if you want to purchase any shirt or anything, where do you see the price? On the tag. On the tag itself, what is the information that you are going to see? Marketed by, produced by, batch number, all these things you are going to see. Like this, in real time, you are going to create a number of resource groups, and they are going to charge you at the monthly end, right? In the month end, they are going to charge you. If you don't provide any tags name, on which person name this should billing should be generated. So like that, you need to provide some tags. Basically, in the tags, you are going to provide business owner and application owner, business owner, and I'm going to make it as something called Ramesh, and I'm going to write like a cost center. There will be a cost center for each and every application. So they will be writing something like a BU, some random name. They used to keep it. All these are like tags just for your identification purpose. And then click on next. What happens? It is going to validate. So whatever the input I have given it, each and every time when I try to create a resource, it is going to be validated. Just create the resource and see this. The resource group is created. You can find that in the bell icon. Okay. And see this. Where is this? RGIRCTC INT dev. Did we create any resource inside this? No. So just open this. Once you open this, you will be able to see the resources inside it. As of now, no resource. Now what I want to create? I want to create a VM. So I want to create a VM, right? On the search bar, look for virtual machine. VM stands for virtual machine. Click on this. I want a VM that should be having Windows operating system for 3.5 GB of RAM, and 150 GB of hard disk. I want, this is my requirement. I need to rent it. From where I can rent it? Azure. Okay. So I searched on the virtual machine box and I'm in the virtual machines. Do I have any virtual machines here? No. I want to create it. Azure virtual machine. This looks a big process for you, but once you start practicing it, it will be very easy. And see this. What is the subscription that I want to use? Free trial. Under which resource group you want to create this resource? This one. Under this resource group, create this. What is the VM name? I'm going to keep it as VM1, or else keep it as Ramesh VM. Okay. Under region, which region you want to select? Just US3. Just to go with the defaults. No infrastructure redundancy. Just make it as standard. And what is the operating system that you require? Windows or Ubuntu? As of now, just to go with the Windows. Just to go with the Windows. What is the size of the VM that you require? 1 vCPU with 3.5 GB of RAM, 16 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM with 2 vCPUs. Which one you want? I'll just go with the basic one like 3.5 GB RAM and 1 vCPU. Okay. To log in into the VM, you need to have username and password, right? So that's why I'm going to make it as SAadmin is the username. Password is HYD at no, no. I'm going to keep the password as India 8123456. Apply India 8123456. Filled it. After that, forget about everything. Just create, review, and create. This is the default press. As of now, just practice like this. Once we are going through, I will explain you what is all these options. As of now, you just want a VM, right? So that's why I just filled only the basic tab. Only the basic tab I filled. After that, we have other 5 tabs. I haven't done anything. So just create it and see this. For 1 hour, they are going to charge you 8 rupees. For 1 hour. Okay. If it is 1 GB RAM and 1 vCPU, they are going to charge you less or more or the same. Hmm? Less. More the configuration, more the price. More the configuration, more the price. If I take 16 GB of RAM, 24 rupees they are going to cost you, or 16 rupees, something like that. It is calculated per hour basis. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, so we'll wait for this. Once this is completed, we'll see how we can make the changes inside it. See, it is getting progress. Deployment is in progress. So once this is completed, I will show you how to log in into the VM. So let's see. We created a VM in where? Azure. Now I want to connect to the VM. What I know? Username no, I know. Password I know. How I can connect? So in each and every Windows operating system, if you go to the start button, we will be having remote desktop connection. Remote. Remote desktop connection. By using this, you can connect it to Windows machines. By using this, you can connect it to Windows machines. My VM is a Windows one or Linux one? Windows. So just open this. It is asking me what is the computer name and what is the username and something else. Okay, just keep this aside and it shows the deployment is succeeded. How I can verify? Go to resource group. Here itself they have provided the resource group, right? I'll just click on this and see. It created all this. How many resources it created when you are creating a VM? So just refresh this and see this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you are creating a VM, it is going to generate 6 resources for you. In that, forget about other things. I want only the VM. VM means that means it's a virtual machine. See, in order to run this VM, it has the public IP, network interface card, disk OS disk, and then it has virtual network. What about all these resources we will discuss later. First, we will see about virtual machine. So this is my virtual machine, right? So click on this. I want to connect to this VM. How can I connect? So for this VM, if you go to the overview page, they are going to show you some information whether the VM is running or not, under which resource group you created this VM, which location, subscription ID, and what is the operating system, what is the size of the VM. Okay, and then you see public IP address. As of now, try to take only the public IP. Basically, there will be two kind of IPs: public IP, private IP. In which scenarios you will use public IP and which scenarios you use private IP. Since I am a person who is from somewhere else, I want to connect to the VM. So that's why I am going to use public IP. I am a public. I want to connect to this VM. I am going to use public IP. Just try to consider like this as of now. In which scenarios we use private IP, that's a complete different point. But as of now, just use only public IP. Copy this. So this is your remote desktop connection. Remove that and paste it here. 20.125.135.227 and go to show options. This is where you need to provide your username sa admin. Okay, just connect. It is going to ask you for the password. Enter the password. India at 123456. It is going to ask you a certificate. Do you want to connect? Yes, I want to connect. See, now I am able to log in into the VM. See, sa admin is the username. So this is how you can log in into the VMs, and this is how you can create the VMs from the Azure portal. Till this point it is fine. I created a VM from where Azure portal. Now I have the VM ready. So let's discuss about hosted agent and self-hosted agent. Hosted agent means VM will be provided by Microsoft, and once after the pipeline execution is done, the VM will be deleted automatically. Now I don't want that. I want to execute those pipeline jobs inside my own VM. So that's why what I have done, I created a VM. Now I want those pipelines to be executed inside this VM. Can we make it? Yes. So for that, what we need to do? Self-hosted agent. That's what we are going to do. So just try to understand a scenario. You have some work in government office and you want it to be completed very fast. If you know any person in the government office, then it will be easy for you or not. The work will be completed fast. Like the same way, understand this. We have a VM and we have our pipelines in where Azure DevOps. You want those pipelines to be executed in this VM. Is it going to happen directly? No. An agent, a agent will be sitting inside this VM. Basically, what the agent will do, it is going to always look for the pipeline. Once the pipeline is triggered, this agent will pick the task and it is going to run in the VM. Now, what do you understand by this? So that means an Azure DevOps agent needs to be installed on this VM. Once it is installed, it is going to always listen for the jobs. Understood? Understood it, right? So Azure DevOps agent needs to be installed on this VM. Why it needs to be installed? Because whenever if you try to run a pipeline, that pipeline should be executed in this VM, right? So who is going to listen to the job? The agent. Once the agent listens this and it will complete the pipeline task. Okay. Now this is the VM and you can clearly see that we will be having C drive and everything inside this. See, it's like the same system, right? C drive, D drive, everything we have. Okay, till this point it is fine. Now let's go back to the pipelines. So we need to have dev.com to log in with Hemant account. Basically, what are we proving now? Self-hosted agent. So sign in into Azure DevOps. The username is this. Yeah, we already logged in with this. And if you go to the pipelines, so for projects, if you go to the project settings, there you can see that agent pools. Inside the agent pools, we have Azure pipelines and default. Azure pipelines is for hosted agent. Default is for self-hosted agent. Now I want to set up my self-hosted agent. So click on this. As of now, no jobs. Go to agents. Add your first agent. Manage agents on the run and run pipelines on this pool. Okay. New agent. It is asking me. You created a VM, right? You need to you want that VM to execute the pipeline task. That means what I have told you. Take a agent and install on that VM. That agent is asking me, what kind of operating system is that VM? Windows, Mac OS, or Linux? It's a Windows operating system that I have taken. So first step, there are how many steps? Four steps. One, two, three, and this is the fourth step. First, I need to download the agent. Click on download. It's a zip file. And in this, see this. They are trying to create a MKDI stands for making a directory. And what they are doing after that, changing into that directory. And after that, what they are doing is extract to directory of this location. That means what they are doing, whatever the file that we have downloaded is a zip file. What they are doing is they are trying to extract it. Extract and put in where? $PWD, that means present working directory. And once they put in there, inside that we will be having two files, config.cmd and run.cmd. First they want to run config.cmd and after that they want us to run run.cmd. Okay. Now the biggest question is, I downloaded it. Where did I download? Is it in the VM or in my local system? Now I want to send this file to there, right? How I can send it? Think about it. This is in my local system. I want to send this file to the VM. Create a. I will tell you one easy way. Whatever the link that we have opened here, copy the link, go to the VM on the same browser, open it and download it. This is one easy way. And there is another way. I have the system downloaded, I have the file downloaded here. So just copy it, paste it in the VM. Do the control V. So it is going to take next 10 to 15 minutes to copy paste it. Now you will be having a question. Windows to Windows copying is fine. If it is a Linux machine doesn't have the user interface, right? Mostly. At that time, you cannot do the Control C, Control V. Now, let's do that also. So, in order to prove that, first what I need to have a Linux operating system VM also, right? So, virtual machines. I want to create one more VM with Linux operating or Ubuntu operating system. So, just create a VM and under which resource group? This resource group. The name is and Ramesh Linux VM. STUS3 no infrastructure and see this Ubuntu. Yeah, Ubuntu 18.4 or 20.4, that's fine. How you want to authenticate? Like the size of the VM should be 3.5 GB and 1 vCPU. Well, vCPU stands for virtual core CPUs. This is used for performance. More number of VCUs, more the performance. How do you want to authenticate to the VM? Public key or password? I want to go with the password based. I'm going to make it as SA admin as the username, India at 123456 and India at 123456. And see this. Just do not change anything. That's it, fine. Just review and create it. If there is any mistake, directly it will show some red color symbol on top of the step that we are doing. It shows that the validation failed. Required information is missing or not valid. So where it is? So just go to basic. Like this was the recent issue that we are facing right now. I'm not changing anything. See this. Simply I went into the basic tab and then again I'm trying to create it. See what happens. This time it shows the step is valid. This was a glitch. We used to call it as a glitch. I haven't changed anything. So if you are get any kind of problems like this, just to go to the basic tab and just do the review and create again. If it is a Windows machine, how did you connect to the Windows machine? By using remote desktop. If it is a Linux machine, hmm? Configure. If it is a Ubuntu machine or CentOS machine or anything, how you can create to those, how you can connect to those machines? So for that, what you need to do is you need to install a software called Putty. Some people used to call it as Putty. Anything is fine. You need to download Putty. So go to the first link and then download it. Download Putty. That's it. Once you download it, go to start button. You will be able to install right once after downloading. So this is the Putty. Open it. See, this is the same thing, right? Here you need to provide the IP address and then you need to open. That's it. You will be able to connect to the Linux machines. Okay, so we'll wait till this gets created, and meanwhile we'll see. Like it will still take 9 minutes and 30 seconds. The best way is open that link in the browser here. Understood, right? What I'm trying to say. So it will still take 9 minutes. So anyhow, we'll perform all the options of tomorrow. As of now, I just want you to create VMs and try to share the files from Windows machine to Windows, Windows to Linux machines. Okay, so deployment is completed and go to here, Ramesh Linux VM. Okay, how can you connect to that VM? By using public IP. Copy the public IP. Public IP different from one resource to another resource. This is the putty, right? Paste it and simply open, and it is going to ask you accept it. Login as SA admin is the username. Password is India at 123456. Now you are able to log in into the VM or not? Yes. You can see the SA admin as the username and Ramesh Linux is the machine name. Let me just, I'll just need to increase the font size. Where is this? Settings, appearance, and then change to bold, and I want to make it as somewhere around 16. Apply. Yeah. If you want to clear the screen, here. SA admin is the username and Ramesh Linux VM is the machine name. Okay. Till this point, it is fine. I have the Linux VM ready, Windows VM ready. Now go back to the agent tools again. If it is a Windows machine, I downloaded it and I am sending it to the Windows VM. If it is a Linux machine, you need to download the agent again and you need to send this file to the Linux machine. So download the agent. See, the names are different. It is for Linux and it is for Windows. Both are not the same softwares. Okay. Okay. So this is also downloaded. Now I want to send this file to the Linux VM. How can I do that? Control C and Control V is not going to happen, right? Control C, Control V. Okay. Yeah. Open the URL in that VM. But okay, is this a user interface? No, right? This is not a command line. This is a command line. We cannot directly keep the URL and hit enter. It won't open. So for that purpose, we have some kind of softwares in the market. These are called as what I want like. These are called as FTP tools. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. File Transfer Protocols. What I am trying to do? Transfer the files from my local system to the Linux machine. Like basically, what are the different kinds of FTP tools available in the market? First, see that FTP tools free. Click on this. There will be n number of tools. Out of these, only two or three will be very famous. Everybody uses this because of the user interface will be very easy or something else. FileZilla and WinSCP. CyberTech Classic FTP. In these, take two, FileZilla and WinSCP. First, I want to download FileZilla. So, FileZilla download. First, you need to download it for Windows, and once it is downloaded, you need to install it. And once it is installed, you can see the symbol here. FileZilla. This is FileZilla. If not FileZilla, you can make use of WinSCP. Majority of the people uses WinSCP. SCP download. You don't need to download it from the official website, and once it is downloaded and installed, you will be able to see like this WinSCP. Open this WinSCP. On the left side, you will be able to see your local system, and on the right side, you need to do like whatever the VM that you are trying to connect. On the right side, it will be showing you. Now see, I want to go to new site. Here you need to provide the host name. No, not this one. I need to provide the IP address of the machine. So not this one, this one. Copy. This is the IP address. WinSCP, I want to do secure file transfer protocol. SFTP stands for secure file transfer protocol. And this. What is the username? SAadmin. India 812345 This is for connecting to the Linux VMs. Why we are connecting to the Linux VM right now? To transfer the files. Whatever it asks, press yes and see. This is my local system and this is my Linux VM. Now what I want to do is I want to go to downloads. So if you go to downloads, there itself I have the latest one. This is the today date, right? This is the Linux VM, right? Linux file. Just drag and drop this. This way you can simply copy paste it. Understood why we use FTP to transfer the files. Which tool we have used as of now? WinSCP. If not WinSCP, FileZilla. You can make use of any of this. And see, I have moved that to here. And which location I have moved? /home/saadmin, right? Now let's go back to putting. Right now I want to find out in which location I am in. /home/saadmin. Yes, I have the file here, right? Till this point, any doubt? As of now, what I have done was created two VMs. One is Windows and second one is Linux. I am able to transfer the files to these two VMs. How? FileZilla or WinSCP. Now you will be having a question. For Windows to Windows, you just copied it and pasted it. If I want to do WinSCP to the Windows, is it going to happen? Yes. Through Windows also you can do it. Okay, for that you need to do some more few settings that I will discuss later. Okay, till this point, any doubt? No doubt. I want you to practice till this point because this is very important and interviews they are going to ask you how to set up the self-hosted agent. What do you mean by self-hosted agent? Like if you want your pipeline task to be executed on a VM, we need to set up a self-hosted agent. So first I will create a VM and inside that VM I need to install a agent. Basically what does the agent do? It is always going to listen for the pipeline jobs. And once it receives a request, immediately it will run in the VM. Understood? So this is how we need to do the self-hosted agent setup. As of now, we just done only copying the files and we created the VMs. Got it? So in tomorrow's class, we will see how to set this up because First, we will go with the Windows operating system because from the user interface point of view, you will be understanding what I am doing. And then we will go with the Linux. And see, if you see here, still it is processing. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see what we can make use. How did you connect to the Windows machine? Hmm? How did you connect to the Windows machine? Remote desktop. How did you connect to the Windows machine? Like by using remote desktop, you connected. Okay. If not that, there is one more easy way. Go to home, and this is your Windows VM, right? Click on this. Here itself, they have shown you how to connect, right? Click on this, connect. RDP. RDP stands for Remote Desktop Protocol. Download the RDP file. See, RDP I clicked on. I need to download the RDP file. And once you download it, you need to open this. Basically, what it does is, by default, it will provide the public IP address to connect to it. See what happens. I'll get the request and see. It has taken the public IP by default or not. Simply you need to connect it. It needs to give the password. That's it. This way you can do it. For Linux machines, it's not like this. For Linux machines, you need to use putty. Okay. So this is the two ways that you can make use of connecting. And there is a third way. Windows R. Why we use Windows R? Run any command. It's for run. Here, if you do the MSTSC, click on enter. Directly it will get you to the remote desktop. And there's three ways. Directly searching in the remote desktop or else MSTSC, or the third way is downloading the RDP file. RDP stands for Remote Desktop Protocol. Okay. So these are the three ways that you can do. So till this point, any doubts?